next month. I have gotten a little off track with these vlogs, so this vlog is going to be a little bit of a catch-up. I've been filming some B-roll, not the most, you know, I've been filming my time, I've been filming my days, not like the most filming ever, but I am filming other things as well, so it kind of does make sense why I'm not necessarily concentrating on these vlogs. And the whole point of my weekly vlogs was the idea to get into the flow of constantly filming, but I haven't really done that yet, but I'm working it out. It's all working out. I'm happy that it's going. I did start editing these vlogs though, so I have a better idea today of where I'm at. So I wanted to do a little check-in on some of the things that I've talked about and just fill you in. So not that anyone's asked me questions about it, but I thought I would catch you up on some things that have happened. The first of which is our car. So when we went away in the beginning of November, our car broke down. We did not have an accident, luckily, but we did need a loaner for a little while. Since talking about that, we've gotten our car back. Our car is okay. We're pretty happy that we have it back. Also, we had a car that my family was going to take that someone gave us, and it turns out that my family wasn't going to take it, so I had to find someone to take it, and I found someone to take it, so we're back down to one car also. Our own car and one car. So that's one thing that I talked about that I wanted to address. The other thing was wall library sale and my Read What You Own challenge. So I will do like a full update in the next vlog about my Read What You Own challenge and where I'm at with it. I just finished another book this morning, so I will be able to add that to my Read What You Own challenge, and we'll talk about also some books that might have come in and some books that might have to leave because I brought a couple of books in. But I wanted to say that one of the caveats for the Read What You Own challenge was to go to one of my favorite library sales, and that library sale got canceled. So actually it kind of works out well for me because I don't have to bring in those books, and I don't have to have that caveat on my Read What You Own challenge this time again. So all those things are leading me like closer to actually fulfilling my Read What You Own challenge this time, because I have tried it twice before and I have failed twice before. So I'm super excited not to go to that library sale. You know, I love that library sale, but I was happy that they canceled it so that I didn't have to go. Now, there is a slim chance that they will reschedule it and I will still go, but I don't think so, because they have this sale 4 times a year, so every 3 months, and the next one's coming up in March. So like, they might as well just wait and accumulate the books. This library sale is awesome. They have a whole like book sale room. I've showed it before, but in the past few years, it seems very obvious that people are donating less and less books. So each 3-month sale is a little bit sparse compared to how they used to be. Like, it used to be so packed, so full, so many books. Obviously more people are buying books too. I was in the Goodwill this week and I saw a man scanning and buying books. I looked at the books he was buying and like, I guess they must sell for a certain amount of money, like everybody's reselling now, but they were not interesting books. There were not any books that like I think readers would want. I mean, being on BookTube, I don't know if I'm the arbiter of, or not the arbiter of taste, but I don't know if I'm the person who understands taste, because obviously BookTube is one section of readers, right? Not all readers are on BookTube. Not all BookTubers are every type of reader, if that makes sense. But I do think that I pretty much have an idea of what people are reading. Even though I'm not a book talk, you get a little bit of book talk from BookTube. Even though I'm a backlist booktuber, you get a little of current release. So like, I think I have an idea of what is popular right now, generally. You know what I mean? So the books that he was picking up were not recent and not popular. Well, maybe they were recent, but they weren't like new release books. They were a lot of, I don't know, nothing. Like, I don't understand the whole reselling thing in a way, because like books are worth nothing really when you think about it, and you can get them everywhere. I have hundreds and hundreds of books on my TBR, and I've gotten the vast majority of them for free or for extremely cheap. So I don't understand how reselling works, but whatever. Long story short, I'm not going to the Wall Library sale, and I'm kind of happy about it. The other thing that I wanted to talk about has to do with my DNF video. So this will come up again when I do that check-in for Read What You Own. But in that DNF video, I mentioned that I DNF'd While Justice Sleeps by Stacey Abrams. I kept calling her Tracy Abrams for some reason, even though her name is huge and on the book. Stacey Abrams, and I know her name also. I did DNF that book, and then I said in that video that I would try it on audio, but when I went to look for the audiobook, I had already tried it on audio. So I just DNF'd it forever. So like I said, that will come up again in my Read What You Own challenge. Another thing about that DNF video is that I DNF'd a book like right after I finished it, so I didn't include it in that video. I'll have to just include it in next year's video. The last thing that I want to talk about that I brought up in other vlogs is being depressed. So the first kind of Bookmas weekly vlog that I did, which was actually in the middle of November, but it came out during Bookmas, I talked about being super depressed, and I was super depressed. I first and foremost want to say thank you to everyone who sent me messages and who was very kind about it and who watched that video and maybe that video resonated with, so I really appreciate that. And then secondly, I want to talk about the stress of my job. So I work from home. I have 2 part-time jobs, and they're both very part-time. So I want to say how privileged I am and how lucky I am and how grateful I am and how thankful I am that I don't have the stress of a full-time, stressful work out of the house job, because I didn't want to seem like, oh, woe is me, I work 30 hours a week and I'm so sad about it. That's not it. I'm very happy. I really like both my jobs a lot. I'm learning a lot at both my jobs, but I put a lot of pressure and stress on myself in those jobs. I mean, they're stressful jobs. Like the bookkeeping job that I have is stressful, partly because I'm still new at it, so partly because I'm still learning, partly because of the stress of working for a small business and constant knowledge that you are in that small business, a big part of that small business, and have impact on that small business. I think that can be very stressful. That's where I prefer to be. I would rather not be a small cog in a big machine. I would rather be a medium-sized cog in a little machine. But I think that sometimes weighs on me because I can feel my impact on my other coworkers and the business at large, and you think of all the aspects and how they work together. If you work at a larger corporation, it's easier to get lost in the machine of I'm just one of the many, but in a small business, you're always one of the few. So like I said, really love that. I really love that about my job. I appreciate that allows me to have good impact on my job, and it allows me to communicate individually with people, and it allows me and my personality to help other people, both with how I do my job and also how I present myself at work or how I care about other people. I am a very touchy-feely work person. When I was a general manager, when I was a manager, when I was a coworker, so I like being able to touch the people that are around me in some way, whether that's by helping them or by asking them questions or by checking in with them personally. So I appreciate all of that. But it means that I put a lot of pressure on myself as well. And it also means that there's not a lot of room for mistakes or, as I have currently gotten, behind in my work. So there's not a lot of room to get behind in your work because you're the only person who can catch yourself up and you're the only person who can fix that problem. And so I put a lot of pressure on myself for that reason. So I wanted to talk about that and my job and how I really, really appreciate it and feel very lucky and very privileged to have the job that I have and to have the situation that I have that allows me to have that job. And I really love my job, so that needs to be stated. And then as far as depression and stress around my job, that's something that I bring upon myself for the most part, but that I also have to solve for myself for the most part. So my work is front loaded to the beginning of the month, this month in December. I am feeling better about, although it's already almost the middle of the month in December when I'm filming this, I'm feeling better about that work and where I am. And I just have to plug away and get my work done this month. And hopefully I will have caught up. I feel more caught up than I did in that past vlog where I was stressing about it. I still feel stress and I still feel worry about it, but we're going to be okay. And then talking about depression, my seasonal depression has ebbed and flowed. So that day and that week was particularly bad. I think that was like the first week that it was really rainy and cold and not sunny. It had been extremely sunny. We were having a severe drought in New Jersey recently, all through the fall really, and even into November. That was like the first week that we were starting to get some rain, that we were starting to see some change in the weather, that it was starting to get really cold, and that always bothers my seasonal depression. So since then, it has ebbed and flowed. Last week was really, really cold, but it was rainy, which was good for New Jersey, good for the drought, but not the best for trying to get out and doing the things that I know help with my seasonal depression, like getting out of the house, like making sure that I'm getting up early and going to bed early, like making sure that I'm taking walks every day. So like all those things are a factor. So last week was really cold and not the best, but this week it's been warmer. I've gotten out more. I'm feeling better. It's just going to be like that for the next 5 months. You know, I'm just going to ebb and flow for the next 5 months. So thank you again for all the warm wishes and kind words about being depressed and about being stressed. I appreciate it so much. And I think it's important to talk about, because just because today I'm not feeling as bad as I was then doesn't mean that tomorrow I will feel the same as today. And everyone has that potential to be depressed one day and feel better the next day. And everyone has days where, or weeks or months where it feels like you're never going to get out of that bad feeling. And we could do things to help ourselves to get out, whether that's going to see a therapist, whether that's taking a walk, whether that's eating better, whether that's talking to someone, whether that's medication. You know, there's things that you can do. So I think it's important to talk about and reflect and be self-reflective on your own situation and what you can do, and not just hope that tomorrow's better, not worse. But there we are. Today happens to be better. The last thing, which is a very sad thing that I want to talk about, is I just found out this morning that Nikki Giovanni passed away. So Nikki Giovanni is one of my favorite poets. My poetry journey on BookTube has been pretty plain. I didn't read a lot of poetry at all before I started BookTube, and then I started reading poetry. The first work of Nikki Giovanni that I read was The Women and the Men. I found this at a Salvation Army, and I'm so glad that I did, because I absolutely loved this collection. The next collection I read last year, which is Love Poems by Nikki Giovanni, when I was cat sitting at my friend's house who had a big poetry shelf. I'm so sad because the last time I went there, they moved their poetry shelf. Like, I don't know where it is. It's not where it used to be, and I don't know if it's still in the house or not. And then I found this earlier this year, so I'm super happy that I now have a copy. And then the next collection that I've read is My House by Nikki Giovanni, which I read earlier this year. So I really love Nikki Giovanni's work, and I'm super sad that she passed away, but I wanted to take this opportunity to just spotlight some of the things that I've read from her. I definitely plan to read more of her poetry and anything else that she's ever written. And today I'm kind of hoping to maybe watch her speak some of her poetry, or maybe an interview with her or something like that on the day that I found out that she died. So I would highly suggest checking out Nikki Giovanni's poetry as well. So let me know if you've read any Nikki Giovanni. Let me know how you're feeling. How are you doing? How's it going where you live? Is it dry? Is it wet? What's happening? And this vlog will end today, actually, and I'll start a new vlog tomorrow. I got really out of sync with the weeks because last week I thought I was going to go to Brooklyn, and I was like, okay, I'll end the vlog early last week and have like a big Brooklyn vlog, and then I didn't end up going to Brooklyn. I didn't end up doing that vlog. But I'm going to end the vlog today, and then I will start a new vlog tomorrow, and we'll get on track with weekly vlogs at some point in my life, maybe one day. Okay, the lighting is terrible. I don't know where I am with this vlog. I'm just going to talk about what I'm currently reading right now. I finished Absolution finally, so I'm still reading A Coney Island of the Mind and the complete collected poems of Maya Angelou, my 2 poetry books. I'm still reading The Spirit of Science Fiction, which I will be getting back to now because I have finished Absolution, so I'm going to finish this book next, I hope. And then my book that I'm not really reading is We Took to the Woods. I would like to finish this one by the end of the year, but it's definitely not a priority, so this is one that I might finish in January. And then I did recently start Ghost Eaters, a novel by Clay McLeod Chaplin. I got this arc at a little free library. It's pretty short, and I'm reading this one on audio, so this is my current audio book, but I'm not even 15% of the way in yet. So far I'm liking it. I guess Chapman is a horror writer. I have one other of his books, so I'm interested to read this one and see if I like it, and if I like it I'll keep that other book, but I think if I don't like it I'm going to get rid of that other book. So I'm excited to kind of really get into the meat of this one. I don't know where I'm at with these vlogs. I'm going to edit one right now and post it right now today, and when I do that then I will have a better idea of where I'm actually at with my Bookmas vlogs, because I really don't know. I do know that I haven't done anything related to like the holiday, so maybe we will do some like actual holiday things in this vlog or the next vlog depending on where we're at. I also really still want to do the buzzword readathon. I want to go over that challenge and see what I've read and what I haven't read and maybe pick some books for that. But I'm having so much fun reading a lot of like mysteries and thrillers for Cloak and Dagger Christmas and the Christie's Missing Readathon, so maybe we'll try to stay with those themes even as we also complete the buzzword readathon. There was something else that I just heard about that I really wanted to do too. Oh, I just heard that the TBR spin is coming back for 2025. Just Sarah from Freshly Read Books is going to do it, but she said for the live show, the first live show, which is going to pick the first spin, is going to be on the 29th of December, and for that live show you need to have your stack of books. So I was like, I could do my stack of 12 books in my TBR spin vlogs, because I am behind in TBR spin, so I do have a couple more that I'm going to do, or I could do it in one of these vlogs, so that's a possibility too. Let me know in the comments below if you plan on participating in the TBR spin 2025. Let me know if you've picked out your books already. I thought you were on the other side of me. There's Santa.